The Ukrainian armed forces continue to carry out asymmetrical strikes against the enemy on its own territory. In Kursk region, Ukrainian fighters surrounded several Russian units at once, and in Bryansk region, they destroyed 3 Iskander-M missile systems, from which the enemy was shelling Kiev. During the strike on the Iskanders, Russian missilemen were killed, including a high-ranking officer. Military correspondent Andrey Tsaplienko told about the details of these successful operations in his report. During the attempted shelling of Kiev on June 5, a Russian Iskander-M launcher was destroyed. And along with the missiles, the 14 killers who launched them. Half of those killed were officers. Among them was Lieutenant Colonel Oleg Podozerov, commander of the division of the 26th Missile Brigade, Military Unit 54006. Recall, on June 5, Ukrainian Armed Forces units, in coordination with the Security Service of Ukraine and other elements of the defense forces, struck a Russian missile unit concentration area and destroyed an Iskander missile launcher. According to Ukraine's General Staff, a unit of Russia's 26th Missile Brigade stationed near the town of Kherson in the Bryansk region was preparing to launch a strike on a Ukrainian settlement. Thanks to effective reconnaissance and the coordinated efforts of the Ukrainian armed forces and the SBU, enemy targets were successfully hit. 1 Russian missile launcher detonated, and 2 others were likely damaged. Bryansk Oblast lies just northeast of Ukraine's Chernihiv and Sumy oblasts, making it one of the key Russian regions bordering northern Ukraine. The strike came as part of Ukraine's broader effort to degrade Russia's offensive capabilities. On the same night, Russia launched 103 drones, including Iranian-designed Shahid suicide drones, and 1 Iskander-M ballistic missile against Ukrainian territory. Targeting missile assets there may disrupt Russia's ability to launch precision strikes, particularly in advance of an anticipated new summer offensive.
As reported recently, Ukrainian defense forces successfully hit Russian facilities that the aggressor country uses to carry out terror against Ukraine. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine said the Ukrainian defense forces launched a preemptive strike on the eve of the massive enemy shelling. Airfields basing enemy aircraft and other important military facilities were hit. In particular, on the night of June the 6th, a successful strike was carried out on the Engels airfield in the Saratov region, a place where enemy aircraft were concentrated after the SBU operation. The Dyagilevo airfield in the Ryazan region, where air tankers and escort fighters are based, are used to support missile strikes on Ukrainian territory. In addition, enemy strategic bombers are flying out of Dyagilevo. The work of enemy air defense was recorded in the Ryazan region. There is information about a fire in the target area. The results are being clarified, the report says. At the same time, in the Saratov region, multiple hits have been confirmed in at least 3 tanks with fuels and lubricants, followed by ignition and a large-scale fire at the facility. The occupiers' emergency services failed to localize the fire. Significant smoke is observed. Dozens of explosions were recorded in the target area. The results of the damage are being clarified, the report says. In addition, the Ukrainian Defense Forces attacked a number of important enemy targets on the territory of the Russian Federation and temporarily occupied areas of Ukraine. In particular, the defeat of the logistics point of the 30th Motorized Rifle Regiment of the 72nd Motorized Rifle Division of the Russian Army in the area of the settlement of Kulbaki in the Kursk region was recorded. The results of the defeat are being clarified. The General Staff clarified that units of the Ukrainian Armed Forces and the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense were involved in combat operations in cooperation with other components of the defense forces. In turn, The Ukrainian Armed Forces Unmanned Systems Forces revealed details of the strike on the oil depot of the Russian Armed Forces Strategic Aviation in the city of Engels. Long-range strikes were carried out on the Engels II military airfield in the Saratov region, as well as on the Krystal Combine oil depot located nearby. At least 15 to 20 explosions were recorded in the target area. Photos and videos published on Telegram confirm multiple hits on at least 3 fuel and lubricants tanks on the territory of Krystal. A large-scale fire broke out, which the Russian emergency services were unable to localize. It is also known that elements that ensure activity were damaged, the report says. It is also explained that the Krystal plant is a strategic facility used as a storage base for petroleum products, gasoline, diesel and aviation fuel for the Engels II strategic bomber airfield. This is already the third successful destruction of this object by the Unmanned Systems Forces since the beginning of 2025, the statement said. In addition, operators of the Ukrainian Armed Forces Unmanned Systems Forces inflicted fire damage on an enemy logistics point in the Kursk region, as well as on a UAV contingent and a repair base in the temporarily occupied part of the Kherson region. The final results of the fire damage are being clarified.
On the night of June 8, the city of Novomoskovsk in Russia's Tula region was subjected to a drone attack. Local Telegram channels reported the incident. Ukrainian kamikaze drones struck the Azot chemical plant in the city, resulting in an explosion and fire. The regional governor, Dmitry Milyev, confirmed the information and stated that 2 people were injured in the incident. He also noted that the fire was extinguished shortly afterward. Local residents reported at least 8 explosions at the chemical plant, with one of the strikes allegedly hitting a propane pipeline. According to some sources, the plant has suspended its operations. The Azot chemical plant supplies nitric acid to the Sverdlov plant in the Nizhny Novgorod region, which produces components for artillery shells. It should be noted that the Azot plant was also targeted by Ukrainian drones at the end of May. During that attack, a pipeline caught fire in one of the workshops, and 2 tanks containing nitric acid were damaged. Recall that on June 7, Ukrainian drones struck a bitumen plant in the city of Kstovo, located 800 kilometers from the border in Russia's Nizhny Novgorod region. That attack also caused an explosion and fire at the facility.